the counter anywhere. Sorry for the break. So you have a wallet which is 10,000 rupees. So that is your maximum risk when you loaded the wallet, and it will keep on going down. Wallet loading is free. The bank doesn't charge you. So that is one mechanism that the person can do. And of course, you trust your bank. There's nothing wrong with the banking system or the technology that works at the back end. But a person should not go to sleep after putting his money into any account. He should get into the habit of reconciling his account, having checked that so that at least if there is a fraud that has happened, you can detect it early. Because the time between the crime being committed and the time it is uncovered is the time when the criminal has the highest incremental chance of being undetected or go away from that. So if you get into the habit of checking your accounts every month, 2 months, then it is good. And whatever the banks do, that banks can only educate us. Banks cannot train people. But I think it will help every individual customer, every corporate account that you have, all the people that are there, to tell them that it is absolutely necessary. It is a, I would say, non-negotiable thing to do is to not to follow the guidelines and the instructions that the bankers or anybody who is handling your money has given to you. We all tend to waive them saying that nothing wrong will happen. And but if you do that, then you are exposing yourself and your institution to all these exposures there. So now, after this, I think that we all can go home and sleep. And I am sure that Madam Bhattacharya also eventually does that, because there are some comforting factors that is always there in the back of the mind. As they say that if God has given you life, somebody takes it away, but there are doctors who try to prolong your life. So same way, if there's a digital technology which has come allowed you to, there are people who try to breach the technology, and then there are people who try to uh, seal the loopholes and also get your money back. So one good comforting factor is that the digital theft can only happen through a digital channel. And all digital channels come with an address of the originating point. And that is, I think, something that suffices. And I unfortunately missed the part, but I'm sure the other experts would have mentioned that everything that happens and every uh, message that is exchanged on the phone, every location can be identified to a 30-meter, 50-meter there. Every computer that has been bought can be identified. Everyone who operates through a SIM anywhere in the world, that SIM provider will be able to say where the person was. If he changes the SIM, his device can be tracked. Now that the phones are becoming much more smarter now, so the device is going to be traced. So it's not a very hopeless situation that somebody invisible has stolen money from some part of the world. But eventually, in this global world, the person is traceable through his digital identity. Aadhaar may not be able to help us trace a person, because I'm sure all of you know that Aadhaar is not a forensic device that you capture some fingerprints at a scene of crime and say who has committed this crime. Aadhaar doesn't have that ability. Aadhaar says that yes, if this card is swiped and his fingerprint is affixed now, whether it is matching to that record attached to the card or not, it is not a originating point for authentication. It is a second level authentication. But your electronic SIM card, MAC ID, ISP address, and the user registered address in the cyber cafe, and the CCTV cameras all over the world are some very good supplementary tools for detecting the digital thieves, robbers, or by whatever name you want to call them there. And obviously that somebody has stolen your money, he has taken your value, whether it is rupees, dollars, pounds, or bitcoins, or whatever you want to have in future. Eventually, this digital money would be either spent digitally, so it would also have a destination address, or there will be some point where that money is getting converted into currency. So that is the point from where the investigation can trace the person who has converted there. And as I mentioned, these communication and movement history all are traceable there. So the chances of getting your money back in a digital theft are much better than somebody who has picked your pocket and run away with your 1,000 rupee notes, because we don't even write down the note number that has been stolen. So if somebody's caught somewhere, and there are a lot of ladies here, so we know that if our gold chain is stolen, it's very difficult that we get it back. And if they get it back, it's, of course, women remember their ornaments better, so they can identify it. But a physical asset stolen may or may not be easy to get back. A lot of cars get stolen, we never get them back. And they get sold because somebody just changes the number plate. And even we don't know what is the chassis and engine number of our own vehicle. So we'll never know what has happened to our vehicle. But our money, we know that yes, it has gone to digital form. And at some point, it got converted into physical form. And that is the way it is likely easier and possible to get it back from there. Okay, so I think I have run through this, and I'm open to all the questions, if there are any.
In a digital world rather than a physical world. Can you elaborate and show some light on that?
No, I think fundamentally, if you look at see, both are thefts in any case. Now, in the physical thefts, physical asset theft that happen, is that a first-time criminal, the chance of a first-time criminal getting caught, unless he's a stupid idiot, are very, very small and low. If somebody is recurring and he has a typical modus operandi and a trail that he does in the same geography, then the chance of his getting caught is higher. But in the digital world, because there are, I would say, if the world population is 700 crores today, then 6.9, crore and odd number of people are the potential thieves of our digital money. That is very easy. But the moment they do it, they have to first come in the digital channel, digital path, using a digital device, which is addressable, identifiable. The path they take leaves a trail, and the way money has moved leaves a trail. For the physical assets, whenever the theft happens, your gold has been stolen, somebody just goes and mails the ornaments, and the gold has changed forms. You can't even get a hand onto the biscuit of gold they convert there, unless everybody is caught. And there is no way, because you're starting looking around everywhere. You have to come out, and then the police dog will come, and the sniffer dog will go to a certain level, and say, I can't go beyond because it's rain there. But the digital trail, the digital cyber watchdogs would always be in a better position to work and trace the movement of your digital assets till the time where they might end up with a dead end, but the path is very, very clear. They don't have to look at multiple alternatives. They know that this is the road they follow for tracing your digital assets. Then they will lead to the criminal, or the point of conversion and disappearance by the criminal.
Of digital platform is that it can move very fast. You know, I move it from one account, second account, third account. I can move it in millions of account in a jiffy, you know. So how to keep track? And are there any case studies you are aware of?
No, I think, no, unfortunately. And because we are in the business of handling digital payments, we don't talk about all these things. But no, I think that, yes, you are right. And that will also happen to your physical assets stolen. But the digital transactions are obviously happening in real time. Otherwise, they're not digital transactions. Then they're analog transactions. So they will happen in real time. And I'm sure that nobody will take the money into his own savings account and then draw from there. He would find some other account where the money will get diverted and stolen over there. And these digital assets could also be your share sitting in your depository, right? So all these things happen, but wherever it moves, there would be a transaction ID, UTR code for the interbank, whatever transactions happen. So those transaction trails will be there. Obviously, somebody who has stolen the money is doing it with the intention of enjoying the benefits of that. He's not teaching you a lesson for doing these things. He will probably consume the digital asset, but it will be traceable. And what the earlier panel said, you must put deterrents and stronger punishments and faster actions on them. So if that happens, then the tendency to break into the digital ecosystem will go away or become less accentuated than what it is now appearing to be. That we know that probably the figure of electronic payment frauds in Indian banking was about 2,000 crore rupees 3 years back, which was substantially very high. Much more than what people do in terms of forging checks, putting checks into other account. Just get into a bank account, hack it there, get payment out, and then you disappear. Obviously, people get caught. Banks don't talk about this. They don't even talk that a fraud has happened. Not that they want to hush up the case, but no bank can afford to have a run of their customers. No matter what the CRR, SLR are, I don't think that any bank anywhere in the world can pay back. It's like concurrency ratio in a telecom sector. I think you know more on the telecom side. There's not only so much of traffic, so much of customers request we can handle. I'm sure, I think Madam Jain is from Gujarat. So we know that it happened in Surat. That somewhere other on one day, probably 10, 12 years back, there was a little problem in getting cash out of ICICI ATM machines. And the news traveled, and not a news, I would say, rumor traveled that ICICI Bank has collapsed, which was not the case then. So if you're not able to handle a cash dispensing in the normal routine way because the ATM logistic has not worked in the way it should have worked, not a bank's fault in any case, then imagine that if people stand up in a line in front of the bank saying that this has happened and people come and surrender, say that I don't want to use debit card because bank can't force you to do that. I want a checkbook and I want to come to the bank and the bank should pay me money. Then the bank would have a big challenge because you see branches today which have just 4 or 5 or 10 employees over there. You don't even have a big manpower there to handle customers. So banks immediately take actions. But one good thing about maintaining confidentiality about the crimes and the whole story is that other people don't get inspired because all the stories that you see on TV, whether it is CID, crime, this is the way the crime got committed. So it's the first 40 minutes go on that. So we are all excited to look at these things. Then the last 10 minutes say how he got detected. So a smart criminal knows that I should throw my mobile away. I should throw my SIM away. If you don't talk about that the call has been traced and the phone is switched on in this place, then the new person or I would say an apprentice criminal would come to know how they get detected. So this is something that I think all of us and including the people in the assurance business know that the less we talk about the way the crimes take place or what action they take, the better we know that comparing the number of transactions and the volumes, and we know that the electronic transactions in India today are very small. The average number of non-cash transactions that an individual in India does is only 6 per year.
Aye.
So if this has to go up to 16, 20, 30, then the confidence in the system has to be there. What I have said is only showing some of the obvious potholes on the path that one needs to take care from. This is not it is happening actually happening everywhere, and I hope that most of the things don't happen like that. I hope I have answered. Sorry, sir.
Yesterday, we were discussing about Bitcoins, and somebody was advising that if you want to do any secret transaction or confidential transaction or unlawful transaction, then Bitcoins are used currently. So as you just now mentioned, how that can be traced, that who has delivered the Bitcoin and who got the money? Because somewhere money will be transferring, correct? So how that can be caught?
No, as I told you, is that one asset, if it can't be consumed in the form, needs to be changed to other asset. And obviously, currently, India doesn't recognize Bitcoins. And we don't really have any transaction or a mishap history in the Indian context. But whenever an asset changes its form and comes in the cash form, then you have an originating point there that this is where the transaction is closed. Because it's like an exchange. Your shares have been stolen and somebody has sold them on the exchange from your depository. And then he has taken the money out from the broker. But there is a broker to whom the transaction has happened over there. The same thing would apply to all your, I would say, non-traditional cash format, that it is getting into a cash format. But if the Bitcoins also change from one person to other person, they would also leave the trail because they are all internally accounted for. I think that as far as India is concerned, we are insignificantly low in digital money. Though the number of wallets, I'll just talk about the consumer volumes and numbers. Though there are about claim to be 20, 30, 40 crore wallets in the market, which is way of parking your money onto digital. All the bank's account now are available online because a core banking system integrated with the national electronic switch through NPCI is a mandate for all the banks if they have to operate here. And NEFT, RTGS is now overtaking the checks that are encashed by them, and probably in the next 3 to 5 years, the checks will disappear. And if you want to have the pleasure of writing a check, then you will have a check image on your computer. You just fill up your figure on that, put it in signature and clear. But the wallets that are being used in India today are all for micro payments, not for really great person-to-person transfer. They're used by people for probably the immigrant labor sending money home to their family through the wallet. Rest of the people use the wallets mainly to book a taxi and get the benefit of the cashback that they get on the wallet. So I think digital money, we have a long way to go, and it will take probably 10 to 20 years for us to really see digital money dominating the physical money in this country, at least as far as the transactions are concerned.
Sir, I have a question. You said that you have audit trails for almost everything. Okay, but it can be traced back at the most to an IP or a Mac. There are ways to spoof those also. Like Mac spoofing is there, IP spoofing is there. There's some kind of weak link between a physical entity and a logical entity. We have a law principle that an innocent should not be punished. Is this really going to be implemented in this case?
No, it actually happens. See, as you very rightly said, that IDs can be stolen, and then your Wi-Fi is not protected. You don't have a secured Wi-Fi network even at home. So people would log in. This happened even in Bombay, right? I mean, this is not to do with payment side, but when I don't know whether it was a bomb blast or some activity, that a mail was shot out from one address in New Mumbai, and they traced it. And unfortunately, happened to be an American citizen whose house he had put his cable Ethernet solution, and the modem was not secured by him through that. He didn't even know that he could put a lock onto that and work on that. But I believe that yes, if your ID has been stolen, your device has been used by someone, and this happens typically in a bank also, right? That you leave your terminal and go away, then your colleague could come in there and want to do some transaction. So there has to be an auto locking of your screen after 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and all those precautions there. But then yes, you become the first suspect. But I don't think that just because your ID has been stolen, your device has been used, you are not accountable. There is no, as they say in law, vicarious liability simply because your network is there. But one of the conditions is that all the telcos now, at least in India, must have a KYC done on him. TRAI has been also very particular. They're not even allowing an e-CAF for telecom business. They allow it for cable TV and cable TV which is under them. But telecom, you have to have a physical form, a physical verification done. Though now they get into a telecalling for the prepaid numbers because it's 10, 20 rupees SIM, not worth 100 rupees on verification. But ISP, the rules are very, very rigorous. And that is some ensuring on that. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, our brain is always more intelligent advanced than any system that is created. But then obviously it is one man who has breached the system, but there could be 10 people on the other side who want to now trace him. So I think even if they are 1/10 as clever as he is, the equation gets balanced out in the end. And he's stolen the money, so he is now vulnerable for rest of his life. And he's in a hurry to hide himself. People who want to catch him may not be in the great rush to catch him, so they can think peacefully. In a hurry to get away from the scene of crime or enjoy the benefits, a person would make more mistakes. But somebody who has more time, is methodical, meticulous, will be able to trace him and find more and more ways of catching the offender. If you could please use the mic.
For better proliferation of digital payment or digital cash, you need a appropriate IT infrastructure on the both the side, the recipient and the giver and the taker. So from the large mass, you may see the smartphone, NFC enabled or whatever, the way the technology. So how you see the receiver and the giver will upkeep their IT infrastructure to make it happen, because we have seen Apple Pay, Google Pay or whatever, they could not proliferate because of this infrastructure bearing on the hardware companies to come to jail into this to get this into a proper ecosystem. Also.
I'll just go away a little bit from this topic, and you opened up a subject of great interest to me, and that's what we are working on. In fact, I want to address the same question, and I'm sure our friends will enjoy this discussion. One is that if Digital India is to happen, I think it has got 3 legs to stand on. One is that there has to be a digital platform on which the data, transactions, e-governance, and the payments will sit. Second is that there have to be digital devices in enough number in the field for people to access this platform, which have an application coming from these fields to access. People can't log in and put www and go there. So your mobile app is nothing but a condensed website access given to you in the ready and the easy to use format. But the third challenge which exists in India today, probably even in this room, is you don't have reliable, secure, and stable internet access. And that's the great risk that people have, is that you do a transaction, your connectivity breaks in between. You don't know whether the transaction has gone through before you get that acknowledgement back from the system. And sometimes you lose money because you click twice on the commit button. This is also happening in the IMP. So now the need is there for making internet available everywhere. As they say, it has to be ubiquitous data service available everywhere. And TRI has recently quoted a consultation paper on proliferation of internet through Wi-Fi devices. So I think that is going to be next 1 or 2 years where we'll have more stable, secure Wi-Fi access. And there are a couple of companies which operate internationally, which allow you to go and enjoy paid Wi-Fi on the basis of a prepaid centralized card that you pay. So you are operating in a secured environment. I'm sure this kind of thing will come into India. And for those who like to discuss this, I can meet on the sideline. We are also trying to create a similar thing in India. It's a digital managed data platform service so that you get authenticated everywhere on single ID without exposing your devices or database to anyone. But this will happen. You are right. But what has happened here is that it's the typical thing that happened in our human evolution also, right? That the horse was there for many years. And then some man realized that I need to now design and build a cart so that I don't have to ride the horse. I will travel to that. So the digital platform has come in place. Digital devices have come. But the digital access is not yet universal. The moment it comes, then Google Wallet and all other payment mechanisms which ensure that you get into email order business and saving a lot of money and a lot of convenience to you and getting into a loyalty program with people will all happen there. And the devices that you mentioned, I believe that what has happened is that every year the hardware prices will keep on going down. The smartness in them will keep on building. I think the Moore's law that applied to computers is actually now, if it is going to be, if it was doubling in the computer capacity and in the cost going down, it is probably trebling in the mobile world. So when we started our mobility business, we took pride on being able to do a mobile app on a Java platform. It's a non-smart feature phone. But now we realize that we have become obsolete because there are no more those 2,000 rupee phones now. Everybody goes for this entry-level Android, which is at 4,000, 5,000. Probably the prices will keep coming down.